On November 4th and 5th, Ozark County received more than 12 inches of rain. It was enough to force Ozark County first responders to drive into other counties and then back to respond to calls. 911 would take calls from all over the county, but on November 5th, they started getting calls about a man named James Hagwood who was missing. Chris Bryant has the story of how friends and neighbors came together to search.
Low water crossings are a part of life for those that live in Ozark County along County Road 902. Take this one, for example, behind me. This is a driveway where there's a low water crossing, and that belongs to James Hagwood. Now, James has probably driven this safely hundreds, if not thousands of times in the entire time he's lived here. However, on the evening of November the 4th, that all changed. For nearly 12 hours, no one knew James Hagwood was missing.
They're trying to get out there right now in a truck and a four-wheel drive to see if he's okay, because we haven't made contact with him all day or all night last night since like 9:30, I think, was the last time we seen him. And he was supposed to go to the hospital today to see his wife. He didn't show up to go to that.
For his wife, Bonnie,
Justin had called and said he still hadn't found him, and so he went on up to the house and said there wasn't nobody there.
We went and searched the creek because we thought he went off on a slab up above.
she knew just where they should be looking.
I said, I think he'd be down this way right here by the creek. I said, it really rose fast.
That this man had been missing since 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock the night before, that he hadn't been seen, and that was the time that we took drastic measures to find this individual.
Ozark County Sheriff Cass Martin knows in situations where someone is missing, minutes matter.
Within 30, 45 minutes to an hour, hey, the chances of a rescue is high. But after that, that time starts dwindling down to a recovery. And when you put in, hey, this person's been in the water for, at that point, it was 18, 19 hours. Well, we were pretty much, well, this is a recovery. This is bad.
It was then that neighbor Justin Burnett made an offer to Bonnie Hagwood.
He said, do you want me to go look now down there? And I said, yes, if you would, please.
And so I took off walking down the creek.
Justin Burnett left Hagwood's property, making his way down the creek bed. It was along this area he saw Hagwood's truck.
Got up and within yelling distance, and I hollered for him and said, hey, Jim. And he said, hey, come get me. He was laying outside of his truck.
Hey, I've got an elderly person that's been washed down a creek. I don't know how long he's been here. I found him. Jim Hagwood's his name.
Okay. We've actually been looking for him.
Yeah, I found him. I walked down the creek and found him.
Burnett says when he found Jimmy Hagwood's truck, it was here up against this debris pile. Hagwood was on the ground here to my left. In total, Jimmy Hagwood spent 20 hours in this area trapped by floodwaters.
This is a huge relief to find him alive. I did not expect to find him alive.
I said, oh, my goodness, thank the Lord.
When it comes to how Mr. Hagwood would come to be missing all that time?
Oh, I started across that low water crossing in the driveway, and there was a log come down, and I sped up because I thought it was going to hit the front of the pickup, and it hit the back and just turned me around and down the creek I went. I remember the water was getting up to the window and the door. And then I remember getting above the window. I don't remember much of it, except it was cold. Yeah, I prayed and I hollered. Thought maybe somebody would hear me, but they didn't.
Once the water lowered, Hagwood tried to make his way out of the creek.
He stepped out of his truck door and fell backwards onto that bank right there.
Him laying out there on the ground that long and all in that water that he had absorbed in his lungs. I just said, he's a tough old buzzard.
Very tough guy.
Burnett and his son Cade would help carry Hagwood out of the creek.
I just think it's amazing he's alive. You know, I don't think anybody could survive this. He was meant to be alive, and somehow he did. I don't know.
For the young man who helped his dad search for Mr. Hagwood, he knows Hagwood's story is far from over.
I think that he has a purpose, just like Dad said. He has a purpose being here, and there's something else he's got to do.
The chances were not in his favor, but he lived and he's alive to tell the tale. That's extraordinary.
The Burnetts don't consider themselves heroes, but just willing to help a neighbor in need. For James and Bonnie, who've been married for 47 years, they know that tomorrow is never given and realize they have gotten a second chance.
It's just how lucky we are. You never know when something like it's going to happen, and you think of things that you should have done better, but we're just thankful that we're here today.
James Hagwood is currently in a long-term care facility in Mountain Home, Arkansas. He, along with his wife, Bonnie, are hopeful he can return home before the 1st of December. In Ozark County, Chris Bryant, KY3 News.